All right, guys. Today we are going to be reacting to 36-year-old woman instantly regrets divorcing her husband and cries. So jump in, guys.
Why does everything feel so hard? I still feel like 6 years out from my divorce, my deconstruction, and 5 years out from learning of my neurodivergence, and 3 years out of learning my very much likely being on the spectrum, that I still am trying to figure out who I am. Life was simpler when I saw life as black and white, good and evil, in and out. And I understand the comfort that people would draw from that. From that hard decision to walk away from my marriage, I really had no idea just what a tower card moment that would become. And if you know, you know. And then dating also was a nightmare because people are initially attracted to me, but then I'm too intense. Then I come across too strong. And I don't know peace. I'm really struggling this week. I'm really trying to figure out at 36 and a half who I am.
Welcome back, family. Today we are going to review this 36-year-old modern woman who decided to leave her husband to go find herself and her so-called happiness. Before we enjoy some tears of regrets, let's first check out this clip where she exposes herself on her Disney
Another one of these Christian women, man.
princess syndrome and how she was confident that divorce was the best choice for her.
I've been betrayed. That is what ran in my head just over and over and over and over again when my marriage was crumbling. And as someone who grew up the good Christian girl who tried her best to do everything by the book, leadership positions in the church, in youth group, campus ministry, leading Bible studies, poring over the scriptures, crying over worship songs. I felt so betrayed.
Crying because over a worship song? I don't think that's Christian at all. I think that's a way of you manipulating your emotions. I mean, I've been in those kind of churches. Not my favorite, guys. You need structure. You need structure. The structures are boring, guys. You need something that is so structural that it just keep your emotions intact. Go to masses. Read. Listen to the Father, and keep it simple, man. Don't be singing and crying, man. Singing and crying is, I think personally, God will feel the change. You're talking about God that just throw a ball of fire to Sodom and Gomorrah, man. What are you talking about? You this thing about crying and all that stuff. I think it's another way of feminism just infiltrating the church.
Afraid that my marriage was crumbling. I waited until marriage. I had my V card when I got married at 24. And part of me did think that there was this quid pro quo. You live the good Christian girl life, everything will be fine, everything will be taken care of, you get your fairy tale happy ending. And even though I still love a good Disney movie, I definitely can look back and think, like, that is what I wanted. Snow White was my favorite Disney princess. Not anymore. I wanted to be taken care of and be saved, really. I wanted to be saved. And it took me a long time before I realized no one was going to save me. Anytime I set somebody else up to save me, I was going to be disappointed, and I had to save myself. But I just keep going back to the betrayal and wanting everything to be different. I didn't want to get divorced. I didn't want to get divorced, but I could not see a path forward in that relationship. And that's not me speaking ill of my ex. It is saying that I walked into that partnership blindly, just so badly.
Partnership. Don't anybody here in my channel do not use that. Do not use that word. Partnership is literally diminishing your role as a man. Do not accept it. Do not accept it. It's literally diminishing your role as a man.
Wanting somebody to save me, someone to hold me. And once I actually began to get to know myself, my real me, the me that's always been there since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, and I actually began to love her and want what's best for her, I knew that that relationship wasn't it. And even though he couldn't see it at the time, I hoped and I prayed that eventually one day my ex would be grateful that I did that as well. Because I know it seems like a selfish thing to ask for a divorce, but truly, truly, the song that kept coming through was that, I think it's Bastille, I want you to be happier. I want you to be happier. I really played that on repeat during that season because it wasn't something I just wanted for myself. I wanted him to be happier too, and I knew that I was hurting him in that decision, but we were not going to be happy. So was I the perfect wife? Absolutely not. I was young and dumb, but I had good intention.
Yeah, young and dumb does not exclude you of the karma that is coming after you. That's not an excuse to make bad decisions. And you know, they say that a lot, right? Kevin Samuels, I remember Kevin Samuels was very well known to just push back during these debates and the notion that you were young and dumb. Young and dumb does not exclude you for making bad decisions. You made that decision to divorce their husband, your husband. Females don't understand this. You guys already made your husbands. You divorce your husband. If it is a good guy, you're not finding another one. That's it. That's it. You have to be okay with the karma that comes with it.
And from that hard decision to walk away from my marriage, I really had no idea just what a tower card moment that would become. And if you know, you know. Just everything crumbling away. Lifelong friendships, people who've known me half my life. I call it the forced rebrand because you will have to redefine who you are when everything that you have clung to as a part of your identity falls away. And that's when the deconstruction began.
In this woman's
Crazy,
eyes,
man.
it is everybody else's fault but herself.
I told
It
you.
seems like everything just happens to her, and apparently, she has nothing to do with the situation she finds herself in. On second thought, I do think that this woman is probably lying about getting married as a virgin, and here's why I believe that she might be lying. Most women that got married virgins don't really talk about it. They don't even bring it up to prove a point because it is really something that is secret and close to their hearts. But on the other hand, I have realized that women who always talk about getting married a virgin or being a virgin to prove a point usually lie. And that is why they always feel the urge to use their V card every time to prove a point. This woman talks about getting married a virgin on her page like 1,000 times. So, fellas, when a woman keeps on bringing her virginity to you to prove a point, just know that the chances of her lying about it are pretty high. This woman has been talking so much shit about Christianity, and when some people in the comment checked her, she almost cried. Check it out.
Once upon a time, I was a good Christian girl. I got married a virgin. I went to seminary. I led Bible studies. I shared my testimony in front of thousands. I was in praise teams that sang in front of hundreds and in front of thousands. I spent all of my free time with Christians, whether studying the word with them, whether living in community with them, whether volunteering with them, setting up my church, tearing down my church, serving our volunteers. I read the Bible cover to cover. I don't appreciate the assumptions about my ignorance and or Brits. You don't know us. You don't know our stories.
You don't know it.
I did not ask for my deconstruction. I didn't want it. Life was simpler when I saw life as black and white, good and evil, in and out. And I understand the comfort that people would draw from that. And I cannot unsee what I've seen, and I've had to go through immense therapy for my nervous system to be comfortable with the shades of gray that I am now operating in. But life is more free. Life is more loving. I feel more compassion for my neighbors globally and locally.
Oh, so she became a liberal. She became a liberal. She might just taste, I'm going to assume here, she might taste her own. I'm going to keep it 100. She gave me that vibe too. That she's okay tasting her own. Listen, man. The reason a lot of people just feel like this is just the lack of faith. Lack of faith. I'm not here to judge, right? That's God's work. That's God's job. But I'm here to just tell you my opinion, guys. Lack of faith. And how do you cultivate faith, guys? By just following the word, man. That's the only way. Really following the word. And praying to God. I don't want to transform this to like a preaching moment, but that's how I do it, man. In my mind sometimes go to weird places. I just literally, guys, literally, I'm not kidding. When I'm sleeping, all of a sudden my mind starts just going to weird places. I just pray, really, and I tell God, take these demons out of my head, man. And this all of a sudden I feel good. I know it sounds weird, man, but it works. I don't know. And it makes sense why a lot of people used to just pray before go to bed. It will clear out their mind. Clear out their mind. Make sure that, bad thoughts were not coming in, because the spiritual side of it, the spiritual side, it's getting healthier. Healthier. Yeah, since I started doing that, like praying before I bed, it's just calmer, right? It's a calmer mindset. But faith, you need to cultivate faith, right? Like she just happened to have a very weak faith, and all of a sudden she gave me that vibe that she's okay with all woke stuff and feminism and all that stuff. So
rather than being quick to bypass their pain and assume that it is somehow their righteous punishment for their godlessness. If you can tell a tree by its fruit, the fruit of the church is rotten.
She admitted herself that life was much easier and simpler when she was a Christian and married. And you will see for yourself how much she is lost, confused, and still doesn't know what to do even years after she left Christianity and her husband on the last clip. But before watching how much her life is still miserable today, let me show you her points of view on friendship and community so that you guys can see how ignorant this woman really is.
No, because the day that you realize that your Christian friendships and love is conditional upon your behavior is the day
they're gonna
that
accept you. No, guys. You do ungodly things and they're supposed to accept you. These people, man, sometimes
mirage starts to fall. My oldest friendships that I thought were based on so much more than just our shared faith crumbled when I asked for a divorce. I had no idea that the same people who would create a prayer chain, a casserole dinner train for someone who had broken a leg or was going through cancer treatment would absolutely, positively abandon you and act like you're poison the moment that you ask for a divorce.
Yeah, because females, when they are divorced, what happens? They start influencing other females to get divorced. What did David X used to say? Like, if your woman start hanging out with divorced friend, she will gonna end up divorced. This was early 90s, early 90s, no, early 2000s. Because misery love company. So she think like she making all these bad decisions. All of a sudden she's expecting everybody to, don't worry, this fine. No, man, you make your decision, the karma's gonna kick in.
I did not ask for my deconstruction. My deconstruction happened to me because when your whole support system, your whole sense of self, your whole sense of like culture, because it's the only music you listen to, it's the only friends that you hang out with, it's the only media that you consume. When all of that is stripped away and you become an island practically overnight, from the people who a week prior called you family, you start to question everything.
Yes, my dear. You are now a poison to your friends
Yeah, that's
because
what it is. She's a poison. They don't want her around.
interaction to the bear is made up. Check it out.
I have 60 seconds before we leave for dinner, but I wanted to share this theory with you. I feel like the broken family label is actually a hangover from that puritanical, toxic Christianity theology. And here's what I mean. The church is really big on self-sacrifice, right? And sacrificing to the point of giving up anything for the sake of the Lord. And that includes giving up your happiness. One of the things that we say inside of the church is God wants you to be holy, not happy. So I think part of the strategy behind the broken family label is you.
True, man. Feminism took over the head of this lady, man. Like, happy. Our job in this world is not to be happy, guys. Happy. Think about happiness. Happiness is something that feels good, right? If that was the case, like I will be just doing the worst thing to myself because I want to feel good and happy. But this is not about happiness, guys. This is about duty. Duty brings fulfillment. Fulfillment. But it's not happiness, it's fulfillment. But she just wants happiness. Now, Christianity is not her God anymore. It's the devil. If you're the world, Satan is your father.
Used to basically try to talk people out of getting a divorce because they don't want that label. They don't want to feel like they're breaking their family, and they don't want to feel like all of that shame and guilt. Because of course, fear, guilt, and shame are the three largest tools the church uses to control us. Honestly, I think divorce was the best thing my parents could have done, and I know that divorce was the right choice for me. We're not broke.
This woman just wants to be free and do whatever she wants with absolutely no responsibility, as most modern women do. They just want the benefits of freedom with absolutely zero accountability for their actions. Now let's see where all her talking and bragging about how much divorce was the best decision ever has led her today. Let's watch.
Everything feel so hard. And when I tell people that I'm diagnosed ADHD and completely convinced that I'm on the spectrum but have not been formally diagnosed, people are like, well, you don't seem
I mean, these people want to be autistic out of the blue, man. These people, man, I'm telling you. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. These people are, man, we have a real mental issue in this country. We have mental issues in this country. Like, it's over the top. Over the top. The fact that they are even recording these videos, man, it's insane.
Divergent. You don't look neurodivergent. You know, so it must not be that bad. My brain, I don't know peace. And I'm really trying to figure out at 36 and a half who I am. Because I remember being told to my face that I was too much. Being told to my face that I was a polarizing character, or that I was patronizing when I was actually just trying to compliment them, or that I was stuck up when actually I just am a word nerd and very particular about the words that I pick because I don't want to be misunderstood, or I've lost friends because I've said something or done something insensitive, and I wasn't trying to be insensitive at all. I was trying to explain myself, and I probably was over explaining myself, and then it makes people feel weird. And then dating also was a nightmare because people are initially attracted to me, or maybe initially, you know, they're into my like allure or my charm or my charisma or whatever, and they think it's cute and quirky, but then I'm too intense. Then I come across too strong. And truly,
The thing that drove me away, that stopped me from continuing to grow my community on here, even though I absolutely loved my community on here, was my inner thoughts, was constantly policing myself, was constantly afraid of misrepresenting. And when we're talking about big things like spirituality and deconstruction, I feel personally responsible for you and your spiritual walk, and I don't want to misspeak. And I'm not a doctorate. I don't have 5 theological masters, and there are people on this app who can speak so much more articulately about what they know about the Bible or about Christianity, or they studied apologetics, or they were a pastor, so they spent every week talking about the scripture. And none of those things are true for me. I never felt Christian enough to be a Christian because I didn't start going to church regularly until middle school. So all my friends knew all the words to.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit, man. Oh man, sheesh. It's never too late to go to church. She got lost, man. She got real lost, confused. Her parents divorced. She probably doesn't have something to really grab on, right? Keep it together. Her house is falling apart.
Larry and what was the one? VeggieTales. They knew all the words to VeggieTales and I didn't. And I felt like a late bloomer to Christianity and then a really late bloomer to life because of how much I had to figure out about the world at 30. And here I am at 36 and I'm still trying to figure out, who am I and how do I express myself?
The thing is that you're never gonna figure out the world. I'm 36 like her. She's 37, 36. I don't even know. 36. I'm still trying to figure out the world, but I need to make sure I keep my what I would say my duties. I need to keep my duties, man. I have duties. I need to keep this monster going. I need to just keep moving forward. But you're still trying to figure out you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time.
And what is my mask? Which was me just trying to fit in this world. And what is really epiphany? And is that enough? And I know if it was you sitting across from me, I would hold your hand and I would tell you it was, but I'm really struggling this week. And of course, the global environment does not help. As a highly, just sensitive person and an empathetic person, I feel just completely torn apart today for many, many reasons. It just feels so destabilizing to the nerve.
Nah, this is why politics should be only for one side when it comes down to gender. Only for one side, because they can't handle this conflict, guys. And now imagine if we go to war. And certain people need to vote. Like, it ain't gonna happen, guys. No way we can. Seriously, guys, if we come down to seriousness, we know the answer to a lot of these stuff. So let's just not kid ourselves. Let's not kid ourselves, guys. Let me know what you guys think regarding this one. I will see you next one.